a circle in relation to us. And actually, it has to be far away, or you'd get differences in that angle. And the sun moves at a 15 degrees per hour rate for everyone, everywhere on the Earth, always. It's impossible if the sun moves in a plane. It has to move in a circle.
Okay, so you remember my premise. So we could go down the religious aspect and say, well, we have these things that support the religious idea, so there must be a creator because we have a creation. There must be a flat plane because I'm trying to avoid the must be, the assumptions, and what we can really validate. 11th chimp.
Yeah, you can validate that. If you move away from your motivated reasoning that you're engaging in right now, you can just look at the sun and realize it's the simplest explanation is that the Earth is rotating.
How do you realize
you
that?
could
Sorry,
you could say that the sun is moving around the Earth.
Where?
But that the sun is rotating around us.
Yeah.
But if we start there, it does move around us. It has to move.
Yeah,
we're at the center of that
Chemo,
rotation.
let him talk.
Yeah, as I'm saying, I agree with it.
Yeah, we are at the center of that rotation. And the simplest explanation for that is that we are rotating. And we can measure that. With a ring laser gyroscope or a fiber optic gyroscope, for instance, we can measure that rotation as well, and we can actually measure the radius of the Earth. We can measure where on the Earth we are with a ring laser gyroscope, because you get, depending on where you are, you'll get a different angle of the rotation.
Okay.
Because your rotation is the Earth rotates around its axis of rotation. So if you're at the North Pole, that axis will be perpendicular to, or it will be parallel to plumb, right?
Right.
If you're standing on the North Pole.
Yeah.
If we assume the Earth, the rotation will be.
Yeah. Go on.
Yeah. But if you're standing on the equator, the rotation will be perpendicular to plumb.
Okay.
And when you move from the North Pole to the equator, you will get like a sine or cosine relationship. So it will match the angle you're at, is it latitude or longitude? I always get them mixed up, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, take your time.
So it will exactly match that.
On all three axes.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can have a one-axis gyroscope and measure it, because you'll see that the 15 degree per hour rotation will match if you when you put the gyroscope in the angle that matches where you are, that's where you see the 15 degree per hour rotation.
Right.
So you can actually plot out the edge of the Earth by going from the North Pole to the equator, or part of it, with a ring laser gyroscope.
Okay.
And you will see you can measure your angle to the axis of rotation.
Yeah.
And one can do that if you can afford fiber optic or ring laser gyroscope. But I mean,
I think they're around $20,000 or something.
Yeah, you can get them cheaper.
Okay.
You can actually build. You can buy the parts and build a fiber optic gyroscope from fiber optic for data transmission. So fiber optic parts.
Yeah.
You can build your own fiber optic gyroscope if you want.
Okay.
Yeah. It won't be as precise as the one you can buy, but you can build one if you want to.
Okay, so that's for Earth rotation, yeah?
Yeah.
What about curvature? Oh, we'll come back to that, by the way. I'm just letting you go through, how
We're right here.
Sorry?
We're right here. We don't have to come back to it. We could just stay right here for a second.
No, I mean, again, it's not an argument. I just want to know his point of view.
He told it to you.
Yeah. So what about the curvature? How do we know the Earth is curving? 11th chimp.
Yeah, you can, with the ring laser gyroscope, you can measure that.
The curvature?
So you'll get
the curvature or the
actual
rotation?
curvature. Yeah, you'll get the curvature from the rotation.
Ah, okay.
Because if you go north, if you go south from the North Pole,
okay.
If you go straight south from wherever you are, you will you can measure the angle to plumb from the rotation.
How does that?
And if you plot that out,
sorry.
you can plot that out on a paper or whatever. You know how far you've traveled.
Mm-hmm.
So if you start out anywhere, you measure the angle of rotation toward the difference between the angle of rotation and plumb, and you draw that on a paper. And then you travel a known distance exactly south, and you do the same thing again, and you will draw a circle.
Okay.
So you can use that to actually measure the curve. There are several ways, but that's one way.
Okay, so you with a gyroscope, you're saying you're measuring curvature.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, cool. And then finally, how about, do we live in a gas pressure? Is the atmosphere
Absolutely.
gas? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So this is like 2-in-1 questions. Yes. Or it might be 3. That's probably 2. Well, we'll just try. So first question is, how do we have the gas pressurized without a container?
You have atmospheric pressure, so it's a little bit different than when you have pressure inside a container. But yes, you have atmospheric pressure. Yes.
Okay. Then how do we have this gas adjacent to a vacuum?
You don't.
Okay, and then how do we have the vacuum without the container?
First of all, vacuum is a very confusing concept because there is no such thing. Vacuum does not exist. You have higher pressure and you have lower pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And on the ground you have higher pressure, and the further you go up, the lower the pressure gets, until it gets very low. So that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, that was good. Does anybody want to say anything? I mean, don't start interrupting me when I start. Does anybody want to say anything now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Now's the time to say it. Yes?
You should be aware that Chemo already has his mind made up, and everything he asked you was so that he could develop a way to troll you here in just a minute.
Yeah, I know.
Hand wave it all away.
Yeah,
Just
the reason I'm curious about this whole thing is because I'm curious about motivated reasoning. So that's my angle. It's so powerful. It's ridiculous. It's scary how powerful motivated reasoning and motivated perception is. So I know.
Right.
quick question.
Have a
When you
business,
get-
man.
But I do want to compliment on Chemo on letting him finish. That was very good.
Okay, quick question before we go on, because Kivo offered. When you get out to deep space, isn't pressure like almost like a more of a probability function?
Moik, I was looking just more for
you have to
pointers.
catch. Shut up, Chemo.
Not an entire new conversation.
Shut up, Chemo. Isn't it more of a probability function when you're talking about pressure out there? Because you have to have collisions between particles, and they're so far apart, the collisions would probably almost never, like you could never measure the pressure in deep space, right?
Well, yes, you don't use it. You don't use a density, an atmospheric density, or something like that when you're talking about deep space. It's more like individual particle collisions. And yes, it's a probabilistic model.
Okay, does anyone else have anything to say? Maybe you want to...
Yeah,
would you like to warn him about anything?
Yeah, Chemo's a lying piece of shit.
Huh? Anything that
But
because
he did let him finish. That was very nice of Kimo to let him do that.
what I'm trying to say is you heard his answers. Is there anything you want to say about his answers? You would agree with what he said?
Pretty reasonable.
Very educated. Very nice.
Okay, so let's begin. So, 11th Chimp, you there?
Kimo, what did
Yeah,
you
for
think
a while
about it?
at least.
Oh, sorry, we're not ready yet. Sorry, go ahead, Tom.
So, Kimo, what did you think about it?
Well, you're gonna know now. I'm gonna get into it, aren't I? Okay, let's begin. So you started with rotation, with the gyroscope. Yeah.
I actually started with the sun, but okay.
Well, I'm into science. When we just observe something, unless we actually physically measure it, verify it, test it, validate it, it could be anyone's guess. Now, you did bring up axial rotation, the gyroscope. So we have an effect in this gyroscope, yeah?
Yes.
And what is the cause to that effect?
It is angular, change in attitude.
Angular displacement.
Angular displacement. Thank you. I'm not native English speaking. I'll see here.
Sorry. What was the effect?
It doesn't really matter. It's a measuring instrument. You measure changes in angular position over time.
How do you know what you're measuring?
All I'm asking
It's
is...
an instrument. It's an instrument built for that.
What instrument did
I did
you
ask
say
you
again
if you want to
was?
say something before I started.
No, because
you heard what he said.
Chemo.
I gave
we
the
want a
opportunity to say things,
clarification.
warn him,
Hold
go
on.
through all the experiments, do whatever you needed to do.
Yes.
And then I said,
we're
don't start
getting
interrupting me when I start asking him
clarification.
questions.
Chemo, we're getting a clarification that have arisen
I knew this would
from your
happen.
questioning. So, what was the instrument? What kind of
Right.
gyroscope were
Let's
you
start
talking
again.
about?
Do you want to say anything before I begin
Yes, I'm
questioning?
going to say something now. I'm going
This
to
is the
ask
last
him what
time.
kind of gyroscope. Yes,
No, that's
that
not
is
the last
okay.
time, Kimo. If somebody comes up with something in the middle of something,
What?
they all have the right to do
Well, I
it.
allowed him to finish. You asked me what I think, so I want to be able to finish what I think.
But we're
What
gonna
kind
also
of
make sure-
gyroscope would you be using for this?
I'd be using a fiber optic gyroscope or a ring laser gyroscope.
Okay,
They're both
and
precise enough for
But
this.
warn
And
him, educate him,
yes,
tell him what you need to
So-
tell him. You all did that. And
What-
now, as soon
what
as I
the
started
ring laser
talking, you
gyroscope-
start talking.
we're warning him about you.
Yeah, I said do all of that. Give him what you need, educate him on how it will go, and then now, as soon as I start speaking, you start speaking.
Whining.
So
You're wasting time whining.
as you talk to him, and you start to give him a trap, we're gonna try to correct that
That's
trap.
why I said you can warn him now.
but we can't.
Get him,
No.
Chemo. Get
Chemo, we
him.
don't have an insight into your very, very interesting
Well,
mind.
those
We
that know
can't
me can.
we can't predict everything you're about to
Yeah,
say.
you should know what's going to go on.
We have
Chemo, what
a very
gyros is he
general
scoping,
idea.
man? I need to know, man. Help me
Guys,
out. Help me
he's-
find out what gyros he's scoping.
He's an adult. Just let it fucking
Right.
go.
Exactly.
Goodness. I mean, I did say, guys, say what you got to say, you know.
Just move on, Chemo. This is getting boring. Come on.
All right, I'm going
So
for a tea break. This is nonsense. You guys need to relax. I need to relax. We all need to come again. If you need to warn him,
Just
warn
stop
him.
talking.
Okay.
Go get your tea so you
Tea
can come
break.
back and get
This is
wrecked,
about to get
Chemo.
very
Go away.
bumpy, very hairy. Okay.
Yeah,
Just give him what you
You're
need.
wasting time. Go brew your tea or whatever that is code for.
Means call one of his buddies.
Yeah.
Guys, just
All right.
fucking
You got
let it
3 relays
go.
of Jared's go. All right, go. Finish up what you were saying.
Zanuck, you should go get some fucking tea too.
I've already had my tea, Tan.
No,
Okay.
I'll have some more.
Say it
Some more.
again.
It's tea
That's some
time.
funny shit. We don't have Chemo. Chemo's off the stage right now. The performer is just taking a much needed break.
I bet he's gonna go get one of his buddies. They'll probably magically pop up here in a minute.
Take a line or something.
So on the laser ring, the fiber optic driver, can outside environment stuff affect that in any way?
No. It only measures itself. It only measures its position in 3D space.
So sunlight or electromagnetism, yeah, all that. Nothing like that.
Oh well, I don't know about.
The temperature of its
manufacturer.
It's
I don't know about that. Yeah.
can infect it. That's why these
Heavy.
machines need to be in air conditioned environments to prevent
Also enclosed.
intense
laser-
vibrations from things outside can also skew it. But when you're talking about the movements of things outside, they won't affect it.
No, exactly.
Is there anything inside the fiber optic that can affect it?
I suppose if
Or
the tubes weren't vacuous.
Yeah, okay.
I would.
But if it's not broke, no.
Yeah. If we put it in an extreme situation, and you used it to manufacturing specifications, it's gonna work.
I've heard you can put it in an extremely strong magnetic field, so it shorts. Then it won't work.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Put it in a vat of lava and it'll melt. Like, you can always think of dumb things that'll mess it up.
Exactly.
We're talking about a
Exactly.
fully functional gyroscope that doesn't have any of these weird aspects to it. It's functional.
rotation.
Yeah. Do you know what happens though when you take a ring laser gyro and then you rotate it back 15 degrees in 1 hour? It measures 0 because it's reversed its deviation. See, so we know that it works when we test it like that. So yeah, Flat Earth is in trouble because the heavenly energies are not explaining it.
Have you read the manuals for the fiber optic gyro?
No, I haven't read the manuals.
I have, and nowhere did it mention anything about ether or anything else in it. Just
yeah, the people who built it don't know how it works. Okay, it's that simple.
Okay, so have you given?
Let me tell you how it works.
Carry on.
3 of them in my AHAR system on the airplane that I fly in. Guess what? No mentions of ether.
Yeah, I mean, who would know less than the manufacturer, right? Obviously.
Okay, so have you give your necessary warnings where necessary? Here is the opportunity.
I've got something to say, Kimo.
Okay.
This will be the last thing. This will be the last thing.
Okay.
If you get asked a question during the course of this interaction and discussion, please address the question straight head on. Okay, don't bring in more factors to make your argument. Do you promise to do that?
Is there any other comments? Just
No,
comments. Just comments. Just
If
look,
followed up
stay
with a
focused.
question.
Just
Follow up
comments
with a
to
question.
your friend.
Do
11th
you have an
chimp.
answer?
You need to protect him.
Do you have an answer for the class? Do you have an answer?
No. Again.
Will you abide by that
Look,
condition?
focus on your friend here.
I guess not. All right. Take it away. Chemo, everybody.
Okay. So, 11 chimp, you still here. Mic check, all those things.
Yeah, I'm here.
Wonderful. Now, remember, I premised with religion, okay? That could just go down the religious route by saying, I believe somebody somewhere has done something somehow religiously. Okay, and that would just be faith, right? But what we're looking for is science. Repeatable, demonstrable, practical science. So, spoke about rotation. Did you had a device? Fact rotation. What was the cause in this device? What was the effect? Sorry, what was the effect? Don't worry if you don't know. If you don't know, just say I don't know.
I know how a ring laser gyroscope works. Yes.
What is the effect?
But it doesn't really. The effect is measurement.
Measurement. What do you mean?
Yes, it outputs how the change in angular position.
Change in angular. So the effect is change in angular position.
No, the effect is a measurement of change in angular position.
The measurement.
Yes.
Is the effect.
It will. Yes. So it's an instrument that measures angular changes in angular position, and it will tell you how much the angular position change.
Yeah, but I'm just looking for the effect.
It's like an accelerometer. It gives you a value of how fast you're
accelerating. It just gives us a number.
It gives you a value. It gives you a value of what the rate of change of something is.
So it's not rotation.
No, hold on. That's a number.
Angular acceleration.
It can be rotation, or it can be all sorts of things. Any kind of change it can measure.
Is it a number? You see, the effect is a number. 11th chimp.
It can be translated to a number. It can be translated all sorts of things. It can be translated to colors if you wanted to.
11th chimp.
Yeah.
Is the effect in your device a number?
It's what it outputs. Yes.
Not a trick question. Just what is the effect?
Now you're trying to go to your.
Shut up and listen.
You're trying to go to your definition of scientific experiment, but you want like cause and effect. This is an instrument that measures the rate of change in angular position. That's it.
Okay, so what is causing this rate of change?
He told
rotation. A change.
Tell them the Sagnick effect. Just mention the Sagnick effect.
Luminary.
Why do you just keep re-asking the same freaking question? Stop re-asking the same question, Chemo. He said it 5 times.
Keep on doing it until you give him a normal answer, I guess.
Did ask politely, guys. I mean, I don't know what to do. It's not going to take long. It's not going to not the end of the world. Whatever he says is what he says. Okay? You can correct him.
You heard the same answers and you will not accept them.
Look. Let's try it like this.
So, if you take a photograph of the black swan, what is the effect?
No. We had 3 points. You see, because that's what they do, 11th chimp. Now you're all over the place because you've been sidetracked by your friends who are supposed to be helping you with this experiment, but all they've done is made you think of different things. Now, you said you had a device for rotation.
Yes.
All I'm asking, if there's not an effect, just say there is no effect. That's all we're looking for, so we can move on. Right?
You want to know how a ring laser gyroscope works?
No. I want to know what the effect is in this device. Is it getting hot? Is it getting cold? Is it spinning? Is it moving? What is the effect? What are we seeing here? What's happening?
So it uses light to measure the rate of change in angular position.
Okay, so what is the effect?
It's a measuring device. I don't know what you mean by effect.
There is no effect in this device. That's all you have to tell me.
What's the effect in tape measuring? Tape measure. What's the effect?
The effect is you get a measurement.
Yes, exactly. So you get a measurement. That's the effect. You get a measurement of rate of change in angular position.
Yeah, but let's say with the tape measure, we get a measurement. The cause is me. I cause that measurement, right?
Okay, I caused the measurement when I used the ring laser gyroscope.
Okay, good. So how do we know the Earth is rotating?
Because we can measure it with a ring laser gyroscope.
But you said you are the cause of your ring laser gyroscope.
In the same way, you're the cause of the measurement with a tape measure. I'm the cause when I do a measurement with a ring laser gyroscope. I measured it, so I caused a measurement to come into being. Then there are different parts in this device that we could discuss. There are electronic components. There's one component that measures light intensity, and it's usually it's either analog or digital, depending on the device you have, so there are different methods of measuring this light intensity. Is that the effect you're after?
No, well, you've given us the effect, the measurement, yeah? The cause was you, not the Earth.
In the same way that a tape measurement is caused by me.
No, but think, when I take
measurement.
But listen, if I take a tape measure, do I cause... Is the Earth causing that tape measure to make a measurement? Or am I causing the tape measure to make a measurement?
I don't know. Or is the tape measure causing the measurement?
That's what I'm asking you. That's what I'm asking you. When I take a...
This is just a semantic argument.
I mean, yes. Cause and effect.
Yeah, that's why a gyroscope
Cause and
can't
effect
work.
is a weird...
All right, here's how
Cause and
I'll
effect is a
help.
weird argument.
I'll help you out. You are the cause of the measurement taking place, but what it is measuring, that is the important
Jesus,
part.
dude, where's that noise coming from?
Don't know.
Is that you, Chimp?
Oh, sorry. It's water.
It's really, 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 really loud.
Yeah, sorry. So,
control your mic.
Yeah, what it measures is itself rotating. The change in angular position of the device.
Yeah,
that's what it's measuring.
Yeah, but you caused all of this. What I'm saying.
The measurement won't take place unless I do it. Yes.
Of course not. Unless I take a tape, unless I measure something with the tape measure, it won't measure unless I measure it. Of course.
Yeah. Emo, perhaps you didn't hear because of the water earlier, but you are the cause of the measurement happening, but what it is measuring is not you. It is measuring something physical. The same way that the tape measure, you are the one doing the measuring, but it is a measurement of something. So he's the cause of a measurement taking place, but he is not the cause of something being measured. Yeah.
No, because what we're looking for is the Earth to cause the device to have an effect.
Why is the ring laser gyroscope measuring anything at all? Shouldn't it not be measuring anything if the Earth isn't rotating?
Well, why wouldn't it?
It's in a rotating medium.
But the Earth should be rotating. So what is it measuring?
And what would that medium be?
No, let's not go there. I mean, we can go there, but what I'm trying to get at is that you have a belief right now, not science.
No.
No?
No, it measures rotation. You can test it. You can try it out. It works.
Yeah, but
it's used
how
in planes.
do you know?
It's used everywhere.
How do you know something? How do you know something else isn't causing this effect?
If the Earth isn't rotating, then the device would not measure anything.
Yeah, but I'm trying to find out how he knows it's the cause. The Earth rotating is causing your gyro to have an effect.
What else would it be, Kimo?
No, it's... if it's standing still on the Earth, it will measure a rotation. If it's not rotating with respect to the Earth is rotating. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, but again, you're assuming this is not science, this is what we call pseudoscience. Okay? You know the definition of pseudoscience?
No, this is not pseudoscience. This is science, absolutely. It's applied science.
Okay, so you're saying the Earth is causing the device to have an effect.
I'm saying that the device measures the rate of change in angular position. That's it. That's what
so
it does.
You're saying the Earth causes this deviation in the device.
That's a really weird way to put it.
Why?
Because it's not really a cause and effect relationship. It's a measurement.
But is the Earth not causing this deviation or not?
In the same way as if you put this device on a plane and you make a turn, the plane will change its angular position, and the device will measure that.
Yeah. So the plane is the okay, good. So the plane is the cause of that deviation.
If you want to put it that way, the plane is moving the device, and the device is measuring how it moves. It rotates. It can't measure movement. It measures rotation.
Yeah, but what I'm asking is, the plane is causing that deviation.
Yeah, okay, if you want to.
Is it not, or isn't it? Can I get that deviation without the plane?
Yes. You could rotate the device in your hand.
So my hand will cause the deviation?
Yeah, if you want to.
What do you mean if I want to? What's making it move like that? It's in your hand.
Yeah, if it's in your hand, you're moving it. So if... Yeah, okay.
What okay?
Yeah, I mean, the Earth rotating is what causes the measurement, yes. That's how you get the 15 degree per hour rotation.
So we went from plane, hand, Earth. So if we remove the plane, we won't get that deviation, yes?
From the plane moving, yes?
Yes. If we put it in our hand and move our hand, whatever, get that particular deviation. We won't get that if we don't use our hand, right?
Yes.
So how are we going to test if it's the Earth causing that?
Because if you put it on the Earth, it will measure a rate of change in angular position, angular rotation of 15 degrees per hour. Which means...
Yes. If you put it on any other device that's rotating, it's going to measure that rotation. So we put it on the Earth and it's still measuring the rotation.
How do we know the Earth is causing that 11th chimp?
Any other object we put it on that's rotating, it measures that rotation, Chemo.
If it's sitting still on the surface of the Earth, with respect to the Earth, it is at rest. And it's rotating. Then the Earth is rotating.
I know you keep saying that. I'm asking you, how do you know the Earth is the cause?
It's an affirming the consequent fallacy they're doing on you, Chemo.
No, it's not.
Oh no, we're getting there. We're getting there slowly. He's slowly realising it, Jeremy, but we're getting there. We're getting there slowly but surely.
If you put on an airplane, turn the airplane, it's going to measure. If you put it in a car and you turn, it's going to measure that rotation. You put it in your hand, move your hand, it's going to measure that rotation. Same thing.
So when you put it on the ground, how can we make sure it's the Earth causing that?
Because what else would it be?
That's not the answer. I'm asking 11th chimp.
What else would it be, Chemo?
We're not affirming the consequences like Jeremy's just told you.
You've done all these other tests. You put it on all these other devices, and it's measuring a rotation.
So 11th chimp. How can we verify it's the Earth is causing this effect?
Just told you.
You're not 11th chimp.
So what you're putting into question is if this device actually measures the rate of change in angular position, right? Or if it's measuring something else.
How do you know it's the Earth turn axial rotation causing this deviation?
How do you know it's not?
I mean,
there you go. Now we're ready now. So again, we're gonna get to the next question. We're gonna have a little interlude here. You guys, let's release Zanuck. We'll take a little 5-10 minutes because we're going to get to curvature next, but we're on this rotation. You want to say anything to him before we move on?
Well, just got to prove that it's not the Earth rotating.
What else? I think that.
This is akin to saying when you drop something, it's you dropping it, not gravity or some other force. You're just talking in circles, and it's just annoying and irritating.
I'm trying to get him to realise that he's affirming the consequences.
No, he's
this
not.
is a fallacy.
We have an object.
No,
we have
he's
a device.
not.
We have a device that we
Jeremy, you want to say anything on this?
Hey, Chemo, I'm saying something to you.
Zanuck was talking.
You will have a really hard time with that because I understand how this device works.
No, well, we have to
Chemo.
move on because, like I say, this is a belief at the moment. You haven't done any science at the moment. So
No,
again, it's not a problem. It's not a problem.
No.
You don't know what's
No.
causing this effect.
You're confused. This is
Chemo.
your belief. That
Chemo.
which you just stated is your belief.
No, but actually,
listen.
what's
The
causing it?
laser is looking at, everything. You can't. You'll have to block. You have to block what the laser
The
sees.
laser's looking at everything, man.
Yeah, look at Chemo. When you have a device that when you rotate it gives you a reading, just like if you had a compass in your hand and you rotated yourself, you would see the outside of this compass rotate. So are you the
refer
cause?
to Jeremy
No,
for
the
the
cause
moment.
is you hold on. The cause is the structure is being rotated, and it's measuring that rotation. No different than measuring acceleration or something else. Why are you making it so difficult and confusing and silly? Because it just makes
He
this
has
a
to.
silly
Short
conversation,
interlude. Jeremy,
which
you
you're
have an
really good at
opinion?
doing.
So if the Earth is rotating, there's your P right there, right? Then we'll see 15 degrees an hour on the gyro. There's your Q. It's a classic if P then Q fallacy. It's affirming the consequent.
Yeah, but what happens when we rotate it backwards 15 degrees over the course of an hour? Hmm?
No, Chemo's right. You have an effect right here. We have a
Jeremy,
gyro just sitting on it. We have a
Answer the
gyro just sitting on
Ask
the
the
table.
question, Jeremy. He asked a normal
That's the
question.
question. What happens when we rotate it 15 degrees the opposite direction over the course of an hour?
What
You
is it
measure
looking
a
at?
15 degree.
What
Survey
is the
says
laser looking at?
wrong, Jeremy. It
Oh,
measures zero.
okay.
What do you mean wrong? I didn't even say anything.
Because you started with the wrong sentence, so I said wrong.
Anyway, we're not the ones.
I
We're the ones trying to figure out your device, how you've managed to get this effect with laws of rotation.
Point
how
is,
Jeremy, if you had this device and you were where you're located and you watched it for 24 hours, would it rotate one full revolution? Would it measure a 360-degree revolution?
Maybe it might. It depends on the temperature, other
No,
variables.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
What
it
do you mean?
does. You
No.
clearly don't know how
All
ring
that-
laser gyros
all those are
work.
independent. All those are independent variables, and they can be ruled out with control variables being controlled, right? So we get rid of
So
all the control.
This
we,
is
we
science. Then.
Damn,
Yep.
Jeremy.
Is this
optimal
science?
temperature.
It is.
Jeremy.
Well, then
Optimal
go ahead, run
operating
them through it,
temperature.
Chemo. They're
We
saying
change
this is
the
science.
temperature
So,
and the
Chemo,
value
you
doesn't
got
change.
this.
We change the temperature and the value doesn't change. Change the pressure, the value doesn't change. So we control those variables or make them independent variables, and we prove the null hypothesis then true. So we know they're not a factor. So now what do you say?
So it's not. This isn't just a measurement anymore. Now this is science. Okay, go ahead, Chemo. Take it over.
Well, yeah, I'm going
It
to get
is
back to
science.
it. Just letting the
As I
guys
mentioned,
get
it's
it all
applied
out
science.
because they're very eager to
Yeah.
get involved when I are beginning to talk. They want to talk when I talk, so got to give them the opportunity,
Yeah.
and you, Jeremy, to get your thoughts.
Heaven
out.
forbid we speak over you, like you never do it.
Get your thoughts out now is a good time. I mean,
Well, the point is that we can falsify the evidence that is gathered from the device, and you don't seem to accept that. You call it affirming the consequence, but it would be doing something strange or abnormal, and that would say, "Oh, well, maybe it isn't the rotation
No,
of the
you
Earth."
have to
When we leave
prove
it by
it.
itself, it measures rotation. When we manipulate the movement of the device, it measures that rotation. When we rotate it the opposite direction it was meant to be rotating, it measures zero. This is how they test the gyro during its, testing phase and its manufacturing phase. You don't seem to address this because you say it's affirming the consequent.
because
No.
I'm only interested in the science part, not what you
Wait,
think
wait, wait.
or believe. Okay?
In addition, you can orient a single-axis gyroscope gyroscope such that it measures 0 rotation on Earth, and then you turn it 90 degrees, and then it does measure rotation. There's a cause and effect for you. So what's going on there?
Exactly.
Yeah, we don't have those experiments at hand. Okay, so
that's how they test it to make sure it's operational, Chemo. That's why these things cost so much money, because they're not just a toy; they're a device.
I mean, I wanted to say to 11th Imp, be careful when you're talking the model. Okay, a lot of the time you'll be speaking in terms of the model, not what actually is in reality. So even you saying things like, "Well, we know the Earth is rotating," is affirming the consequences. Okay, misplaced concreteness, fineness.
No,
I haven't pressed you on any of those things at the moment. Just allowing
no. The model represents reality, Chemo. Why do you keep changing? What do you think the model's for?
I'm just preparing him like you guys didn't do any of that. I'm just helping him out, giving him some information.
You did.
You didn't.
Jeremy, why do you think airline pilots will sit there for 6 minutes and make sure that the rotation it detects is exactly the latitude that they are located in before they take off? And then when they take off, somehow it measures all the orientation changes of the plane while it flies. How does it do that?
He doesn't like you.
Don't answer that.
Again, I know, yeah, because again, it's meant to be more of a helping out our new friend here. Has a belief. Now, at the moment, 11th Chimp, you have a religious belief. Now, of course, you're going to get a chance to rectify that idea and explain and express practically how it's not. Remember, I premised with religion is one thing and science is another thing. And all you've done at the moment is suppose your model, presuppose the idea that the Earth is rotating, not showing cause and effect. Okay? There's no way of verifying.
Yes, he did.
Kimo,
can you address, if it's not the Earth rotating, what causes the gyro to measure rotation? Can you address that before you move on? Can you address that, please? I think we'd all want that addressed before you move on.
We have a phrase. What's our phrase? Falsification.
The old way was to think.
Is independent of replacement. Okay, so we
you have to falsify it first, Chemo.
What is 11th Chimp?
You didn't like that, did you? You didn't like that, did you? Being told that you haven't falsified anything. Is that why you jumped off script and didn't know what to say next?
No, because I was looking at his name.
Chemo, saying no isn't falsification. You do
I'm trying to explain to 11th that when we falsify your model and we show you that it's a reification, okay, you can't ask us, well, what is it then? Okay? So when we show you,
Chemo, it's not a reification, it's a scientific method. There's a hypothesis.
What he's doing,
if the Earth is curving at a particular rate, this gyroscope should be able to output a particular rate. Then you perform the experiment and you find that it does output the particular rate. And then you say, maybe it's not calibrated correctly. Let's turn this 180 degrees and see what happens. Because if it's not calibrated correctly, now that it's 180 degrees, it should output 0. But what happens is the same rate is outputted, meaning that it's calibrated just fine. It is detecting an angular acceleration. And then you can conclude your hypothesis was correct.
So you have an effect. You got a gyroscope is having deviation when it's not moving, right? Yes or no?
Yes, it'll detect angular acceleration.
All right, there you go. There's your effect right there. You got a gyro deviating when it's not moving. What's the cause?
It appears to be not moving, sure.
On 3 axes.
What's the cause?
What's the cause? The Earth rotation.
Right.
There we go. Now we're doing science. Here we go. You got this, Chemo, or what?
I will get into that. Yeah, I mean, again, this is the interlude. But now, 11th Chimp, do you understand that now? Now we have a cause, Earth rotation. Now, the question is, $1 million question is, how are we going to manipulate Earth? This is for 11th Chimp.
You don't have to manipulate Earth rotation. You can manipulate your measuring equipment, as I just stated, by turning it 180 degrees.
Okay, we heard
if it were calibrated incorrectly and giving you false
literally
readings,
sickening how full of shit you guys are.
readings by moving it 180 degrees, it would output the same because it would be off and not detecting anything. But if it gives the same exact output, despite being 180 degrees in the same general direction, then we know that it is detecting something.
Okay, thank you for your opinion. We've heard you twice now.
It's not an opinion. It is a
Okay.
verified fact of how gyros work and how it's calibrated and what it detects.
Okay.
You can explain how he's wrong,
The
right?
fact is, when you're doing science, you need to manipulate the cause so that you know that it is the cause.
Yeah, you're manipulating
That's
the
the fact.
rotation.
Fuck your bullshit opinion. All right, your opinion doesn't matter for dick.
Yeah, that's a
We
pretty good
did
point. By
manipulate
reversing
it.
the measuring equipment, you are manipulating
hell.
the Earth rotation because Earth rotation occurs in one direction. So when you turn your measuring equipment 180 degrees, you're effectively measuring the opposite
said he's
direction. You
measuring
are
Three
changing
times
it. There you
you've
go,
just given
Jeremy.
your
He's
opinion,
manipulating
Bio.
Earth rotation. What are you, fucking retarded or
3
something?
times.
There you go,
Turning
Jeremy.
the
Yes, you are
device.
manipulating Earth
Insults
rotation.
instead of
Ah,
legitimate
yeah,
rebuttals. You're doing great, Jeremy.
That's 3
Yes,
times
you
you've
are.
given us
Yes,
your
you are
opinion, Bio.
manipulating Earth
Thank you.
rotation with respect to the gyroscope.
Got your opinion. Turn it. Well, you're manipulating the Earth. We understand your opinion. Can we ask, is it possible we can get to 11th Bio? Are we allowed
I don't
to
give a
ask
shit
the
what you'd
question?
like to do, Chemo. I'm just presenting true information.
But I'm asking,
Tell me, do it.
are
Tell me,
we
do it for 10
allowed? Are
seconds
we
and then you're
allowed to
manipulating
ask
time.
11th Chimp
Watch
his
his head
opinion,
explode.
Bio, on this experiment?
Oh, of course, yeah, because anyone's opinion doesn't change reality, so it doesn't matter. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. The 11th Chimp. Okay, are you there? Mic check. Still with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Excellent. Okay, so we understand there's a cause. There's an effect. Sorry. So the cause is Earth rotation. Can you explain to me how you will manipulate your independent variable, which is Earth rotation? Go ahead.
I'm not doing a flat Earth experiment. I'm measuring the rotation of the Earth. Why would I manipulate the Earth?
Why?
I can,
Mhm.
but why? I'm doing
the
a
reason
measurement.
why. Oh, sorry. Go on.
I can manipulate the Earth, just like they said. I can turn the Earth upside down in relation to the gyroscope.
Okay, so your independent variable. Now, remember, if you turn it upside down, you are the cause to this effect of the gyro, 11th Chimp. So it's very important, okay?
We're not doing an experiment here. We're measuring the rotation
I know,
of
but
the
we're
Earth.
trying to validate your experiment, your measurement. We want to validate it, right? Yes?
We're measuring the rotation of the Earth. It's not an experiment.
Your people just got done telling us it was science. Now you're saying it's not science? Which one is it? You guys got to pick one.
Jeremy, if you want to fight a straw man, you can fight it on your own. I wouldn't do it publicly, though.
You guys are just saying this is science, bitch.
Right, measurements are science as well, but measurements don't require scientific method.
Your boy Zanuck was just talking about independent variables and shit. So maybe just shut the fuck up, Bio.
You can
Bio,
apply it to
maybe
an
just shut up and
dependent
sit this
variable,
one out.
but it's not
'Cause you don't know
required
what you're
because it's a
talking about.
measurement.
You're just chatting shit.
Why?
It's a measurement.
Through your insults? Okay.
It's a measurement. That's it. You're just measuring something. It doesn't require a scientific method in the same way that when you go and try and find out how big your feet are and you measure your feet for your shoes, you don't need it to obey the scientific method. And you get an accurate result and shoes that fit. It's a
Now it's
measurement.
not science anymore. Well, you guys got to pick one.
Science measurements are part of science, right? Gathering of data, measuring things, gathering data, that's part of science. But it isn't a scientific experiment.
I think
It's just measuring something.
That's a what is, not a how question. That's not science, right, Jeremy?
What's
I always
causing
tell
the
my
gyro?
parents-
What's causing the gyro to deviate when no one's touching it?
Earth curve. Oh, so Earth rotation. Earth rotation. Because it's measured on 3 axes.
That's your
Okay, it's not
cause and
just
effect.
one.
Yeah, just like a full court pendulum, Jeremy.
The cause
or not?
is, hold on, the cause is rotation, not the Earth rotation, just rotation. If a gyroscope deviates, it's because there is rotation. If the gyroscope is affixed to the Earth is rotating.
It's called logic, Jeremy. You're so angry and so outspoken now. I don't know where you're getting this confidence from, but the more you talk, the more you realize.
Hangs around
how crazy
QE.
It's
If
still
it's
just a
not
measurement.
Earth rotation, and if it's not rotation in general, what is causing it, Jeremy?
Notice they're coming to your defense, 11th chimp, for a reason. There's
No, we're providing
a very
facts.
particular
This is a
reason
room.
for defending
This is a
you
room.
right now, okay?
The Earth
11th
is
chimp is
rotating
doing fine,
and
Chemo.
all of the Earth is rotating.
Oh, here we go.
Either one is valid via relativity.
Don't do that, Sheep.
And Lemon has arrived.
Right, let's continue. So, Lemon, we've got our 11th chimp here. We've been through we haven't even got through the first question. And it's going to be a long night, guys, because we're on the first question, which was rotation. We've got curvature to come. We've got gas pressure space to come. Hold tight. Don't go anywhere, because we're going to get through them. The Lemon.
Yeah, but answer the question we asked you, Chemo. We can move on.
No. If it's not science, but look. Hold on. Because remember, I premise this with religion. If we cannot demonstrate the independent variable, we have to move on. We can't ponder on.
It is your opinion that we cannot.
Okay, so let's discuss it.
Okay,
let's
question.
get practical. Okay, now
the
we're
counter
ready.
question to you, Chemo, is what is it if it's not
No,
Earth rotation?
falsification.
Why is it measuring? You haven't falsified
Stop asking us
anything
that.
until you explain what can falsify.
No,
it.
we're not
So
replacing
what is
it.
that mechanism other than Earth rotation that's causing it to deviate from its location when it knows where it is in 3D space?
We're not making any claims. There are possibilities, but we're not making any claims just yet, Lemon.
We
Not
are
making any claims
the
just
ones
yet.
making the
Not
claims.
just yet.
You've got
no.
to counter with
Chemo, do you
falsifying
think it
it.
could be the rotation of the
tell us
ether?
what you think is causing it, and we'll manipulate that.
No, we're not making any claims just yet. We're
What
sticking to the
else
science.
is it looking
Well,
at?
then take the L. Then you lost this point.
No, because we can't manipulate our
You
independent
can't
variable.
falsify. You
Right,
can't
this is
falsify
nonsense.
the evidence and the reason for it. So you have to move on by conceding you can't. Then we can move on. Or provide refutation. This is Lemon. This is Jeremy included. This is any flat earther that wants to step up with some balls. If not, if they're female, maybe not. And do it. Otherwise, take the concession and move on to your next point that you'll get wrong.
No.
Because unless you can falsify that it's Earth rotation or some other form of reasoning, then you've lost the argument.
Okay, fine. All I want to hear from 11th Chimp is, can we manipulate our independent variable? If it's no, we move on. If it's yes, we continue. That's all. This is not a religion. This is
Science is not with a manipulable variable, Chemo. They're at the experimental level where they're just theorizing what's going on. They have no small-scale model with any sort of orbit. They can only duplicate that with electromagnetism. So at this point, we're talking about theories and frameworks and just comparing them. I'd say that the ether is spinning over the Earth at that point instead of the framework of gravity.
No, because you weren't here before, Lemon, you missed the beginning, and that's fine. But if you don't realize that the thing is detecting itself moving in 3D space when it's stationary in its fixed location, but it's still measuring deviation, you then move it physically with your hand, manipulating the variable itself. Hands down, refute that or concede.
But that would be moving the gyro itself. You could have the gyro moving on an object that's moving and or
Yes,
space.
but Earth is
moving
the claim that it's
gyro.
rotating in
Either
one
experimental
direction.
framework is valid.
Earth rotates
Have you
in
ever
one
had
direction.
the gyro? Have you ever had the gyro stationary so that you knew that when the gyro was stationary, it didn't move?
You orient it orthogonal to the axis of rotation and it measures 0. Then you align it with the axis of rotation and it does measure rotation.
Does it measure a resting drift, like the ether, the substance of space, moving over it with or without moving the gyro itself?
What part of what I just said did you miss?
I'm going to take that for a no. Based off that unimaginative, obfuscatory answer, I will take a no. So we need
It's
to
not a
test
no.
the gyroscope.
What it is if you orient the
For a question, it's
gyroscope.
obfuscation.
Oh, for God's sake!
So we need to
Yeah, you're affirming
You orient the
by saying there's an
gyroscope.
ether.
Okay,
If
so
you
don't go
orient the
anywhere, guys. We've
gyroscope
still got
orthogonal to the
curvature
axis.
and
Oh my
gas
God!
pressure
If
to
you
go
don't
through.
let me get it out, I'm going to.
You can get it out, but this is not going to
hold
fall
on.
apart, guys. We're going to stick
Yes,
to those
it is.
questions.
Hold on.
Okay, carry on.
If you orient the gyroscope orthogonal to the axis of rotation, you get 0. When you align it with the axis of rotation, you get the full 15 degrees per hour. What's confusing about that?
orthogonal to the rotation of the Earth or orthogonal to the rotation of space. That's just baked. We still need to see what, if anything, is rotating the Earth and or space over the Earth. Either experimental framework can handle it. So let's explore this. Let's see if it has some sort of resting wind drift or whatever from the ether.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay,
I've
so
got,
let's
I've
do
got
the
that for
same
you.
measurement.
I-
Do the same measurement, but 1,000 miles south, and all of a sudden it's in a different direction. Are you saying that the ether is moving in the perfect way to make it seem like it's a sphere spinning around a center of
Like
rotation?
a rolling river, it has eddies and currents. Sometimes you get a counterclockwise whirl eddy. Sometimes you get a clockwise eddy whirl, even in the same river. It's the same thing with the ether.
By the way.
But
And you're saying
cyclones
these
and anticyclones in the north and the southern hemisphere looks like ethers, eddies, and counter eddies in the ether.
Okay. And you're saying that these just happen to match up so that it seems like no matter where we move and do these measurements, it'll always seem like we have an axis of rotation as if it was a spherical Earth. It just happens
Or
to
we
line
have
up
a
like that.
rotation of space itself. Either experimental framework is valid.
Yeah, but what you're saying
For your model, no necessary element that we have to have that makes it rotation of the Earth. It could be the rotation of the space over the Earth just as easily.
No, because if you move
Hold on,
south by a certain amount, you'll then see the gyroscope, if you put it parallel to the Earth or flat on the Earth, have a different amount in the different directions of yaw projection and whatever the last one is, I don't remember. And if you do these in many locations, you keep getting the same answer, that it's a spherical Earth around a axis of rotation.
We can go back and forth with this, other dude. You were saying?
Yeah, the alignment of that rotation corresponds directly to your latitude. Why would that be the case if it's eddies and whirls?
It was just eddy and whirl in the ether, where basically it's going in a swirl, and the strength of the swirl corresponds to your latitude. The strength of the swirl is stronger toward the center, weaker toward the outer part. There's your latitude right there. Eddies and whirls.
But it's very conveniently exactly spherical. This whirl, this rotation, it just happens to be that it maps out something that's spherical. Why would that be the case?
And not only spherical with exact
Tell is that
radius
there's
of
a
the Earth.
circle. For it to be spherical, you need to show 3D geometry to this whirl over the surface. The surface can be flat, with space at best swirling like batter over the surface.
Lemon, wouldn't a swirl imply that it would go in all directions? Like you would go to a little bit further along a latitude line, and all of a sudden it would be going north. That doesn't seem to happen. It seems like your swirl method is kind of fallacious.
Well, we have rivers where we have whirls and counter whirls that are clockwise and counterclockwise right next to each other. If space is swirling over the surface, going in and out of the surface like a river, you're going to get whirls and counter whirls anyway. You can duplicate this with electromagnetic.
Right. The problem is eddy currents are notoriously
into
unstable.
You can
I have a little
whirls and
problem
counter
with
whirls
that.
electromagnetically based on
Whirls would imply that it would go north-south at times, because it's going to be going around in a circle, and these eddies and whirls are going to be changing directions at some point. If it's going along with the equator, it would appear to be twisting in all different axes, just depending on your position on the Earth. Yet it's not. It goes to a very uniform pattern as you go further south. It follows a pattern like you're on a sphere, not like you're in eddies, whirls, and random.
Well, it depends on if you look at like a cake batter with a spoon taken through the cake batter. You get a whirl going toward the spoon in one direction and a whirl coming from the opposite direction from the other side of the spoon. So if something's stirring the cake batter, like, I don't know, the sun, moon, and stars, it would have an axis point at the equator, and everything would diverge from that point. There's a couple possibilities.
What is the axis of your whirl?
The sun, moon, and stars appear
so I can determine whether your theory is correct.
And everything. The sun, moon, and stars would be the spoon and the cake batter. So it would follow them.
Is the world going to happen from that?
That would be the spoon, so everything would go away from that spoon.
Okay, and
how is that? Hold on.
There is no
Lindbergh. There's one fundamental problem.
What's that? What's that?
We can't hear
Cake
you.
batter, swirl, worlds
You
encounter
play
worlds.
that.
I'd go with that.
All right.
There is no.
Because look now, because Lemon, what's happening is, which I mean, it's good what we've just done because we've highlighted to 11th chimp that this is just idea-based 11th chimp. We don't have empirical, imperative, definitive evidence that it's the Earth causing the deviation. So can we kind of go on to, because we are pressing for time. Hey, Brian.
Timo, how many movements does the Earth have? Allegedly.
11th chimp, you want to answer that? How many movements does the Earth have?
At one particular, in relation to what?
11 movements. No more questions per question. 11 movements.
Okay.
In relation to what?
Around around the sun, around the galactic center, around the great attractor, blah 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 blah. 11 principal motions.
You notice how nobody's ever counted all 11 of those.
Which one's the slowest, Lemon?
Hang on. Do you have evidence of the great attractor?
In relation to what?
The slowest one's the...
It's an internal critique. I don't necessarily believe in that. But that's what your side says.
So, look, Brian, we've
obviously for an internal critique.
Brian, we've established the Earth is not moving. We don't have any empirical science to verify that the Earth is moving. So,
did you not just hear what the chimp told you?
Why am I being funny?
Gyroscope pick up the slowest movement that the Earth's doing.
No, well, we can't
When
verify.
it's going round the sun at 66,600 miles an hour.
Linear velocity is not acceleration.
It's chasing the sun at like 1.2 million miles an hour. And
In relation velocity.
Yeah, linear velocity is not acceleration, Brian. The fastest acceleration is the rotation of. Hold on, Brian. Brian, you're not going to just. You're not just going to wig out before I get to say it. You don't. Hold on, Brian Mabbott. You're not just going to wig out right in the middle of what I was saying. The fastest. You're just going crazy. You're out of it. You're out of it.
Acceleration.
Oh my God.
Brian
Mabbott.
Motherfucking boy.
All right, look. Just make your
Brian
point
Mabbott,
there.
the fastest acceleration out of all of those is Earth's rotation.
No, it's not. They're all
the fastest acceleration.
Rotation. They're all angular acceleration.
Right.
Thank you.
What?
It is nonsense. You have been fucking brainwashed.
Okay, that was completely wrong, by the way.
Yeah, what's angular acceleration, dickwad?
Going round a corner, turning, rotating, spinning, whatever you want to call it.
Okay, so can you tell me the 9 different vectors of which you're taking that corner at?
What are you going on about?
Pitch, roll, yaw. Oi, did you? Yeah, I'm answering you, and then you talk over me. You're a prick.
Yes, I agree with you. The fact of the matter is, Earth is supposed to be going through at least 4 movements that I know of round a fucking corner, which is known as angular acceleration. So your fucking bollocks that you're talking is complete nonsense.
It's not a
Brian
corner.
Mabbott, if you drive 1,000 miles an hour down a straight road, are you taking a turn?
You're not going down a straight fucking road, you thick cunt. It's turning.
So does it matter how much? Does it matter how much of a bend that road has in it, or is it just the speed that matters?
It is angular acceleration.
So the amount of bend matters, right?
It is angular acceleration. It is going around a bend, rotating, turning, spinning, whatever you want to fucking call it. And there's more than one movement, and the slowest one is just so happens to be the one this fucking piece of machinery picks up. Load of bollocks, stick it up your ass.
So if I go down a very slight bend at 1,000 miles an hour, Or if I drive a car 20 miles an hour and yank the wheel, which one will I feel more acceleration from?
Also, may I interject something here? The Earth is in free fall around the sun. We have almost no forces acting upon us from that rotation.
You should really answer that
question. There's no acceleration.
You talk like a complete cunt.
Mabbit, he asked you a question. I wonder if you could answer it. If you're going around
I'm not answering this question. I'm answering the ludicrous fucking assumption
in an aircraft,
that this
and you make a sharp turn in a car. What's the difference? Which is turning faster?
As a matter of fuck, they're all going round a corner, and the only one that's detected is the spin. Load of bollocks. It's fucking bullshit.
Ryan, under vectoring, the sharp turn will have more force than the gradual turn.
Give a fuck!
But Ryan!
I don't give a fuck.
Hey!
They're all angular acceleration.
Ryan,
stick your fucking gyroscope up your fucking ass.
Okay, Brian, we're going to have to interrupt you because you're not moderating your delivery. You're just talking. So the thing is, we appear to have 11 motions that we're not feeling. That is a little hard to believe. I suggest we drop the moving globe model and go with something that's stationary, if not flat.
Lemon?
The largest of those accelerations is 0.03 meters per second squared.
Morons. You got to accept it. You are brainwashed morons.
Brian, why did you mute me with your loud over talking when I tried to answer you respectfully?
Because I'm not interested in your fucking nonsense. Understand what I'm saying?
Which is something you should fucking know. You're into race cars.
I do not want to hear your fucking nonsense anymore.
Leave the chat.
It is bollocks.
About vectors that you don't understand.
And bullshit that you keep fucking spewing.
Okay, Lemon, could you answer the question now? You're in a car,
the slowest movement the Earth is
too loud. I can't hear anything over you. My thinking process. I'm gonna have to mute you. Okay.
Moderator.
Lemon, so you're in a car going around a roundabout at 20 miles an hour, or you're going around a city in a jet airplane over a 100-mile radius. Which are you going to have more G-forces in? Which one is going to have more angular acceleration?
If you're going 20 miles per hour around the center, how far are you from the center?
50
closer,
feet.
whatever one closer to the center.
50-foot radius.
The one that's closer, I think, would have more G-force typically.
Okay, so with the going around the galactic center at 256 million years per rotation, which will be worse, the G-force of the rotating Earth, or going around the galactic center over 250 million years?
It would be going around the Earth since it's a smaller radius. But the thing is, we would feel something you would expect based off of the absolute numbers. I go 20 miles per hour in my car, I can feel it. I'm going 66,000 miles per hour in space, not feeling it. I'm calling BS. Sorry.
Well, 250 million years is a long time to make a circle.
How big's the circle?
Oh, God. How many light years?
Lemon, you're wrong.
I don't know.
You go away from
I'm still learning about this defunct globe model. But I'm going to have to drop it and go for something flat and stationary.
As I mentioned earlier, the largest acceleration, which would be from Earth's rotation, and the largest at the equator would be 0.03 meters per second squared. That's way less than the 9.8 meters per second square we tend to contend with each day.
Lemon,
but that may be a worthless metric that is small, but really doesn't tell us anything at all. By the absolute standards, 20 miles in a car I can feel. 66,000 miles in space I'm not feeling? Bullshit.
But we just went over why linear velocities are worthless in this discussion.
You did some nice number finagling, and you came out with a nice small number.
Yeah, you need to
reality.
know
I'm sorry.
What is your vestibular system? What motions is it capable of detecting? And this is a known thing, but you haven't bothered to find it out. You've just assumed whatever the acceleration is, you are capable of detecting it. And that's simply not true. And you know that's not true because of the time when you looked down at your phone in your car and you didn't have the brake on and it rolled forward when you didn't realize it.
Right. So I used an absolute metric.
So you know that there are emotions.
Small number.
So you know that there are emotions which you aren't capable of detecting. Now you need to know if this qualifies as one that any of the motions that you're talking about. You need to know if they qualify as a motion that you would be able to detect or one that you wouldn't be able to detect.
Right back at you.
I mean,
you threw out a small number and said, "Oh, small number, you wouldn't feel it." But you haven't given me any thresholds or any standards by which to say this is what we normally feel. This small number relative to this number has some sort of significance. You're just like, "Oh, small number, you probably wouldn't feel it." Begging the question, unsatisfactory. I'm sorry.
I can give you the numbers if you want. It'll take me a little while to round them up. But what the vestibular system is capable of detecting is a known thing. They teach this to pilots in instrument flying. They need to know it because, they need to know what their body is and isn't capable of detecting.
You're talking about the G-force?
I'm talking about your vestibular system and what accelerations it's capable of detecting.
Look, I've been having vertigo for the last 4 days, and I haven't been in a car or anything like that, so I guarantee you I'm feeling the Earth's movement. So, flat earthers, you guys are being fucking proven wrong again.
Your brain isn't being scrambled by a 5G death tower. You sound like you're a cosmopolitan, like you live in a city. You're probably next to a 5G death tower scrambling up your heart, brain, and other organs.
No, I don't think there's a 5G tower near me.
Yeah, I don't have one near me either, so Lemon, you're full of shit.
Yeah, what's the difference in 4th generation and 5th generation, Lemon? What's the difference?
The 60 gigahertz frequency that it puts out is basically the main killer. It fries oxygen and makes it unbreathable, so you're suffocating even though you're taking in all this air. Watch out for the 60 gigahertz frequency that will fry the air and make it unbreathable and give you what they call, quote unquote, the My Osiris.
Okay, so look, we're veering off. We're veering off now, which I thought I knew would happen. And we've got 11th chimp here.
Hang on, I'd like to address Lemon, please, Chemo.
Well, as would I, because why gig and why wireless
that's
USB?
medical. I don't know if we can talk about that on YouTube. That kind of
both of those operate at 60 gigahertz.
I'm not sure if we can discuss that kind of thing on YouTube.
Hold on, those both operate at 60 gigahertz. Those are both technologies that have been.
Oh shit, Jam Panda, are you here?
Yes.
Get him on, please. And fucking ream Chemo.
You want to talk about it, Jim? We can talk about that here or what?
No, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, good. So we got 11th chimp here, and we were almost there with the rotation. 11th chimp. But we figured out we can't validate it scientifically because we can't manipulate the independent variable. Yeah, right?
We can verify it and we can manipulate it, yes. No problem.
Okay, how are you manipulating the Earth rotation?
We can rotate the Earth in relation to the device.
Yeah, but you're manipulating.
So you're not going to manipulate the Earth. You're just going to manipulate the device. Just so
which is the independent variable,
clear, right? No, the independent variable is Earth rotating.
No, rotation is the independent variable.
Yeah,
Earth rotation. Yeah, Earth rotating.
No. You're determining which one's rotating there, Jeremy. You just fucked up.
No, you guys fucked up. This is just slimy.
No, you presupposed Earth rotation in your fuck up.
No, that's your supposition.
But that's what you just said. Earth's rotating. That's what you said.
All right, Davos, stop being silly now. You're bringing it to a silly place. 11th.
Not really. He did say that, and that's something he laid on us.
That's what you guys are saying is the cause of the gyro.
We're not though. Listen carefully. No, listen carefully.
That's
Rotation.
Okay.
Huh?
That's it. That's the answer. Rotation.
Is the cause of the gyro.
Not Earth rotation. Rotation.
So Earth's not rotating. Good. Glad we came to
Didn't
that.
say that. No, didn't say that.
Good shit, Jem.
No, didn't
Not
say
Earth
that.
rotation. No doubt.
All right,
Jeremy,
all right,
you've
you've got to
lost
win,
your-
Jeremy.
lost your edge,
The Earth's
bro.
flat now.
So what is the device detecting then?
Rotation.
Not Earth rotation, though, right?
Yeah. So what rotation is it?
Not
detecting then?
exclusively Earth rotation. No, I think that's quite an important point.
So that's what we're trying to figure out. So we don't know if it's Earth's rotation.
We do.
No, you don't know.
We do.
It's not it detects itself rotating. The device is rotating. So if the device isn't rotating relative to the Earth, that means the Earth is rotating as well.
Okay, so that's your position. Otherwise, we're going to go through this all night. You're going with it most.
Hold on. There's a way to test this. It sounds strange, but put it in a fixed position in a whirlpool. Turn it on. If the outside rotation of the water does anything to the device, if it's fixed in place and unable to be physically moved, then you might have something.
Maybe. We'd have to manipulate the whirl around it,
Turn it
right?
on it. Just turn its axis 90 degrees.
That's the whole claim, right? That it's stuff on the outside that's causing the change in the reading. Not the
Using water
device.
is a nice touch because that's like water's above.
Exactly. So we can get that whirling, swirling action going on while the device is fixed in place. If your theory is true, that it's not the device moving, then you might have something. It's testable. Why don't you contact those individuals and find out? Chemo.
Yes, they're all possibilities. All we're trying to gather from 11th Chimp is if he has a belief, which is he feels the cause is the Earth, which is fine. We all have beliefs in life, but you don't know for sure that the Earth.
Yes, I know for sure. I know how the device works.
Mm-hmm.
I know the physics behind it.
Okay.
So I know how it works. I know how it can measure angular rotation.
Okay.
So
Also, did you notice, 11th Chimp, that he changed your position for you, where you believe that Earth's rotation is the cause instead of just rotation?
Yeah, because we're looking. I did ask you the evidence for Earth rotation. That was the premise. How do we know Earth is spinning, rotating? You said I have a device. You're saying Earth rotation is the cause of this device.
We know that the device is measuring rotation. We know that the device is affixed to the Earth. We know that the Earth must be rotating if the device is measuring rotation.
So without the Earth rotating, you wouldn't get that measurement.
Right.
Right, so that's the cause to this effect.
Yeah, but you cannot just simplify it by saying the cause is Earth rotation for all of those readings.
What else is causing those readings?
It's just rotation. The gyroscope is measuring rotation. When it's affixed to the Earth, that rotation happens to be the Earth's.
Well, anyway, I'm satisfied because he cannot manipulate the Earth's rotation.
He can manipulate the Earth's rotation with respect to the gyroscope by changing the orientation of the gyroscope.
Yeah, that means your hands are touching the gyro, not the Earth.
By changing the orientation of the gyroscope and still affixing it to the Earth.
Okay.
It's very specific.
But that's not manipulating the Earth.
It is with respect to the gyroscope.
No, that's presupposing the Earth is spinning, and I'm turning it upside down because I presuppose a spinning Earth.
No, you're measuring the fact that it's measuring the rotation in the same orientation with respect to 3D space, but is in an opposite orientation with respect to the gyroscope.
Yeah, all assumed that it's the Earth. If we assume the
Not
Earth is
assumed, it's
spinning,
measured.
if we assume the Earth is spinning, this would give us a deviation like this. That's how the premise goes. That's your hypothesis. That's how you do science. You hypothesize first the Earth is spinning, and then you make a device to confirm your hypothesis. Right, 11th chimp?
No, I just measured the rotation.
What made you think the Earth was turning?
in this
No, in
particular
the very beginning.
discussion,
Very beginning of time. Your time. What made you think the Earth was spinning?
probably when I was told.
What made you think the Earth was spinning?
At first, when I was told it was spinning, but I mean,
What
I can see
made
I can
you
see the
think-
sun.
What made you think Earth was spinning?
I was told the Earth was spinning.
They told him a
I
lot.
thought you said I was 12. I was told. Okay.
I was told.
Ah, you were told. Okay.
I think very
I thought you
few
said
kids
I was,
figured that out.
I was 12, and I'm like, yeah. Sorry.
Fun fact, though, regardless of the
Whoever-
source of the supposition that the Earth is rotating, the hypothesis still stands on its own. It doesn't matter how you came to that hypothesis.
Okay, so that's what we're going with. I'm not arguing again. So your hypothesis is Earth spin, 11th chimp, come back. So your hypothesis is spinning Earth, build a device deviation, proves my hypothesis, yeah?
No, it's not an hypothesis. We know the Earth is spinning.
They're
And
double.
we can measure
one,
it.
How did you know the Earth was
one
spinning?
person saying it is science, the other person saying it's not, Chemo. It's like they can't get their story straight.
Alright. How, see, again, flyers would be laughing their heads off now if they were at, I'm trying to be polite. How did you know the Earth was spinning before your device?
I can look at the sun and see that it moves at a 15 degree per hour through the sky, and I know
How?
it does that everywhere.
How do you know that?
How do I know that? Have you ever seen a equatorial sundial?
Let's say no. Continue.
Okay. So an equatorial sundial, they're popular because they can be mass-produced, because they work anywhere. You can put them anywhere on Earth. They're usually made for the North Hemisphere or the South Hemisphere, but you could, in theory, use the same one.
Okay.
And it comes pre-marked with 15 degrees per hour.
Well, who pre-marked it?
That's right. Why
The
would you have two different
manufacturer.
types, Kima? Why would you have two different types, as you just mentioned?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking.
You have to flip the northern hemisphere
Hey,
one
I'm
upside
learning
down
about
to
the
make it
globe
work in the
stuff here.
south.
Let him teach. Carry on.
Yeah, so we know the sun moves through the sky at 15 degrees per hour, or those equatorial sundials wouldn't work. So
You
there's
know-
no discussion about that.
That the
So-
sun moves at 15 degrees, yeah?
Yeah, every hour.
Okay, so how does that tell us the Earth is turning?
That tells us that either the sun is going around the Earth,
Of
or
course.
that the Earth is spinning.
Of course. How do we know which is which?
That's the next step.
man, good
One
man.
way of knowing that is
Mhm.
we know how gravity works.
Whoa, that was a big jump there.
Another way,
But go on. We'll
another
work
way-
with you for a minute. Go on. Gravity, yeah.
and I'll look at other planets and figure out that we're all rotating around the sun.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, and also we know distant stars are not rotating around us because they would be going too fast.
Hey, when is Timo gonna ever answer some questions?
Like what? He said
It's
he
not
believes
about
in the globe
Timo.
because it's reality. That's what he
Yeah.
said in the beginning. So we're
What
trying to
about the
figure
first
out.
question we
We're trying to
asked?
figure out how he knows it's reality, and you want me to answer questions.
Oh no!
He's the
The
one
point
that
is,
said the
Kimo,
globe is reality.
is that
and so
you're gonna
far, what we found
falsify it,
out
right?
is that the rotation is not detectable. Because now he says we don't know if it's the sun or the Earth moving.
No. That's not what he said. Don't take his argument and make it windmill from your position. Okay.
Well, we'll stop interjecting then. So let's get back to the.
No, but just stop doing that, and I won't have to. If you keep this honest and you know
He's
and
doing
fair
fine,
instead
Sheeple.
of
Doesn't need the
manipulating the
monologue.
argument.
It doesn't
I'm
need
not
the cheerleading.
monologuing.
It doesn't need the
I think
cheerleading.
everybody can agree with me. That's why no one's saying you're wrong,
It doesn't
Sheeple.
need the
You didn't do that.
cheerleading. Goodness sake.
Not cheerleading. I'm keeping you
It
on
doesn't
track,
need,
holding you to
It
task.
doesn't need any of that. What it needs.
So the
is,
point is, Kimo, is what we just established is that the human body cannot detect the rotation because it's not sensitive enough. So we make a device like the ring laser gyro to detect that. When we look at the sky, we match the rotation of the Earth or the rotation measured on that device to the movement of the sun. Now you've got to come up with an alternative explanation for why the gyro measured rotation and why the sun matches that rotation. That's where you're at right now.
I'm sure.
Instead of running away from that,
I'm sure we will.
address
You've
that.
just made a point. You're going on and on. I'm sure we will.
I finished my point with address that.
I'm sure we will address those things once we start to build a model. Right now, as I've told you, we have no model. We don't believe in models. They're reifications. And until you convince flat earthers why they should have a model, it's very unlikely that we will see a flat earth model anytime soon.
You should do some reading up on reification fallacy, by the way.
I will do that also. But other than that, you made a wild claim to me that you said the globe is a reality. So far, we found that there's no way of figuring out if the Earth is rotating. So far, you've said, it could be the sun, it could be the Earth. And then from there, you started to guess. Now, that's not science or physical practical measurements. So far, 11th Chimp, you have what...
Except we can measure
Nearly finished. So far, 11th Chimp, what you have so far is a religion, okay? So we're very hard pressed to show that it's not a religion. But can we move on to the next 2 points now, or do you still want to go on about rotation that you haven't been able to prove in? Let me look at the time. In 1 hour and 25 minutes, we spoke about rotation with no success.
Right, falsify it before we move on, Kimo. Don't run away from the questions that were proposed
I've
to you.
just not
Please.
been able.
1 hour 25 minutes on rotation.
Exactly, as Lemus man. Everyone else got it. But now, Kimo, before you move on and jump away from this very, very difficult question, Jeremy, you're welcome to chime in and call everyone stupid and try and help him out.
Okay,
What
how
is
much
causing
of
the measurement of rotation if it's not the Earth itself moving?
How much of the Earth turning?
I've got a question for 11th.
In 1 hour 25 minutes, how much of the Earth turning?
No, you're monologuing, like you're not saying anything. So like,
It's alright if he doesn't.
When you said that it's either the Earth is either circling, or sorry, the sun is either circling the Earth, or the Earth is going around the sun. Does your methodology? Hold on. Let me just finish.
But that's not it.
That's okay. Let me just finish, and I will clarify, and you'll understand what I'm asking. So, does it eliminate the possibility of a sun circling over a flat Earth? It has to be circling around a 3D object, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, you'd have to have two suns then.
Two suns, huh?
It's always day somewhere. So when the sun is underneath the flat plane, there has to be another sun, right? It's always day somewhere on Earth.
Okay, this is really nice, really nice and everything. But again, 11th, try to avoid the religious element, okay, of we worship the sun and we have no idea. Okay, we're trying to stick to the facts, the measurements, science.
It's religion, Kimo. You gotta stop saying it's a religion and stop saying all this other bullshit. It's not a religion. Nobody believes it's a religion but you.
It's the foundational belief that doesn't have evidence like a religion. There's no real evidence here. It's just like faith. You know, where's the foundational evidence?
A gyro is not evidence?
A gyro could be spinning from space itself, spinning over the flat, motionless Earth. There's still an particle of space there. Especially since I can't feel movement with my own feet, my own experience. I don't
Why
feel
should you? Why should you be able to? The human body can't detect it.
So I need to have faith in this.
No, that's why
That's
we
what
created
you're saying.
That's why we created the devices. Just like your eyes can't see at a microscope level, because we can't see that far, so small and minute, that we created devices that would assist us.
So I have to have faith. At that point,
you
it
have
sounded
to,
kind of
you have to
religious.
realize that these things are engineered to do what they do, just like a car's tire engineered to spin at a certain amount, and when it exceeds that, it flies off the hub. Things like this, we know work in practice.
People make
we
it
started
work
with mechanical,
their,
and we moved to digital.
theories. The theory has nothing to do with how it works. That's just a general explanation. People make it work regardless.
Okay? Your ether with unsubstantiated claims about the ether is cockamamie.
Alright, sheeple, you're going off into...
claims about the earth moving. You philosophically assume it and go forward in faith.
Well, we're using devices that can be falsified if the data and evidence from them was false. What are we meant to do with your claims? Trust
data
you?
with a different interpretation.
Trust
it's
you
the
with a bias?
interpretation that's in question.
Take the data and work with it. It's not hidden from you. This claim that it's all the secret globe knowledge and all this bullshit getaway
it's
tactic.
It's just a different explanation for what's going on. That's all.
You're having works in every facet it's applied to, Lemon.
Alright, sheeple, I'm going to have to...
We're going to have to compare religions here.
I don't
the
know
religion of scientism and globism, or the religion of common sense experience that's flat and motionless.
Okay, so we're not sure how long he's got.
That's why I asked you beginning.
You know, and you're
What's the difference between
eating
can
a
do
lot
and
of
will
his,
do?
a lot of his time. We haven't even got through the 2 questions. Okay, we've got through 1 question over an hour on rotation, and we haven't got anywhere. So, 11th chimp.
Yeah. You couldn't get to your final kill shot. That's why you were on for an hour. We killed you in the first opening sentence. I killed your argument before you began it.
There's something wrong with sheeple here. Well, this is insane.
No, it's just stop denying that we can't move on.
That's all you do.
Can we move on? Oh, it's alright when you monologue and take the whole fucking room on the
trying to get your friend here to speak.
Right, but Chemo, can you address the question that the room has asked you?
I haven't made any claims, but later on, afterwards, we can review it. But right now, we're asking 11th chimp about his paradigm, how he knows it's reality, as he told us. He said, it's reality.
Sure, dude.
City
you want to move on, but you want to go back to it. Okay, yeah, believable, Chemo.
Right,
real believable.
This is, I don't know what this is. I mean, how can we get through this?
What's the rationale?
Reality is a combination of faith and evidence. So you need to test the object of your faith or see if there's evidence that also leads, toward or away from this faith. The globe doesn't appear to have evidence. It appears to be highly faith-based, based off of the lack of movement we feel and the lack of curvature.
That's how it looks at the moment, but that may not be the case because we have 11th chimp here. 11th chimp says this is reality. So now,
I know. Sorry, I was sitting here and I'm like, fuck, it's cold. It's like,
what is that? Okay, 11 chimp, are you still active? Are you still here?
I'm still here.
Excellent, good to see you. So, we didn't get through rotation. There's nothing sufficient that we can both agree on that satisfies the rotational question. Okay? We can agree on that, yeah?
But yeah, if you learn some basic physics, I'd be able to explain this to you, but I'm not.
Sure. But there's no way you can show practically that the Earth is spinning, yeah? You can only describe it.
Gyro!
Yes, I can.
Again, we agreed that because you can't manipulate the Earth, you're not manipulating the independent...
I can manipulate the Earth, and I don't have to. It's a measurement. I don't have to manipulate the Earth. I can measure the spin.
Okay, so can we agree to disagree? I think that's a belief. Otherwise, we'd be here all night talking about just that one point. So can we get to measurement of the Earth? Who measured...
Measurements?
Yes, yes.
Faith is a little circular. Like, we can tell that it's moving because this, gyro is evidence of spin. That's a little circular. Evidence is a bit more of a chain of linkage. It's a bit less circular. Do you have anything that's a bit less circular, a bit less faith-based? Any other obvious evidence of spin?
How is measurement faith-based?
Because you need to know what you're measuring. Are you measuring spin, or are you measuring the spin of the space above the object? The spin of the object, or the spin of the space above the object?
I told you, it's measuring, it's the angular, the rate of angular, change in angle.
Go on, you're breaking up.
It's not measuring anything else, nothing outside the device.
Okay.
It could be measuring the spin of space over the object, so that's not going to be satisfactory if the ether is a thing.
It can. The ether isn't a thing. I find it quite funny that you guys, you have a problem with dark matter, right? You usually laugh
before we
about
go
that.
there again as well. I mean,
No, I won't go to dark matter.
No,
but
we can go there,
ether.
but again, I didn't realise these were going to take so long. I mean, just rotation is taking
What's
forever.
your time limit there, Kimo? Why are you in such
There's
a
no
hurry?
time limit. I'm just saying that it'd be good to get through the points, right?
Well, we're trying to get through the point
Is
that
a
you
good idea?
understand the gyro.
That's a great idea. So we've been through. We end up we are going to end up saying yes, you didn't, no, you didn't, yes, you didn't, no, you didn't, with this point. Yeah, no, you didn't measure the
We're
Earth.
not going to accept
Yes, you did.
measurements. Then
No, I
don't talk
didn't.
about any more measurements.
That's where we are right now, 11th chimp. Yeah, you say you did, I say you didn't. Can't go
Yeah,
any-
because you don't, but you don't have the full picture because you don't know how a fiber optic gyroscope works.
Do you have one?
That's the whole problem.
Do you have one at hand to show us a demonstration?
No, I don't.
No, but we can't go any further with that question. It's more of yes, he did, no, we didn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now.
So if let's just
go on.
If I tell you that reading is a hoax, you can't read. You've just been indoctrinated.
Okay.
You think you can read, but you can't. It's ludicrous because words are sounds. And if you listen to a book, it doesn't make any sounds, right? So how would a book ever convey words to you? It's impossible. The only way I could believe that, the only way I could think that reading is a big hoax and a conspiracy is if I can't read.
Okay.
What about an audio book?
Yeah, audiobooks. Okay, but reading is a hoax.
No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're
Convince me
saying. Otherwise. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Okay.
So learn some physics, learn some math.
Yeah.
And
We'll figure
and
out how the Earth is spinning. Yeah.
learn to read.
How can we
Learn to
read these ridiculous posts in VC chat about the globe if reading wasn't a thing, though? How does that make any sense?
So,
I mean, a conspiracy needs to have some sort of narrative explanatory power. Your conspiracy hoax it's useless. It doesn't help us explain anything. No motivations, not what's going on. It's just useless crap.
Unless
Okay,
NASA taught
so-
you how to read.
What I'm saying is, you can't believe that reading is a hoax if you can read. In the same way that you can't believe the Earth is flat if you know some physics and maths.
That doesn't even follow. You need to show that your theories are necessary and the only game in town, and you haven't done that.
Well, we're trying to find that out right now. We're going to get
That's
to
exactly what an illiterate would say about reading is a hoax.
No, you're saying that you've measured the rotation. Fine. That's what
Yes.
you believe that. That's fine. Now,
That's what I know, but you don't.
no, but we can get back
Well,
to that. 'cause we-
thing is, you sound kind of European, and one of the lasting legacies of Europe's trip into atheism and away from religion is a lack of logic. Highly emotional SJW crap has infiltrated the culture because without a dedication to some sort of foundational truth, which religion tends to bring, your logic suffers miserably. So you might want to go back to logic class there, Chief. You may be very smart, but I don't see that as being extremely logical at all.
I don't think
Yeah,
so.
and as long as you can't read, that you can have that position.
Without
So how do you know he's an
foundational truth, your
atheist?
logic tends to suffer greatly.
Wait, how
So
do
you
you know
might
he's
want
an
to take
atheist,
another look
Lemon?
at that religion that you booted out of your continent circa 100 years ago or so.
Lemon, thanks for over talking me. How do you know he's an atheist?
Anyway.
Aren't most of the people in here atheists? Let me ask him. Are you atheist or not?
I'm an atheist, yes.
Okay, guessed it right. Good enough.
So, look. Next, we're going to go on to curvature. So, is the Earth curving? 11th.
No. I'm not gonna like it because it goes back to the gyro.
Yes, the Earth is curving. Can you flat earthers please just get over your freaking like neurosis or whatever it is, psychosis, and just be normal for like 5 seconds
The 11th
of your
chimp.
life?
11th
People
chimp.
that are normal aren't really thinking. I mean, when you wake up to the shape of the Earth, it's like your mind just starts firing again. That's at least what happened with me, anyway.
So, you said the Earth is moving. It could be a flat moving Earth. Some, like the Flat Earth Society say the Earth is moving up. See?
Yeah, that's actually
Right.
a better explanation.
Okay. So now we need to know: is the Earth curving? Like the water, is the water curving around the globe?
Yeah.
Okay, good. How do we know that?
Several ways.
Excellent. Let's get into them.
So you can take a fiber optic gyroscope and go and orbit. You can plot out the surface of the Earth.
What?
Also, because the sun is moving at 15 degrees per hour around us, we have to be at the center of that rotation.
Okay.
Which means the sun is moving in a circle around us, and it's always. So we could argue a cylinder.
Mm-hmm.
We could argue a cylinder, but that won't work either.
Yeah.
So it's not flat.
So that's one way we know it's curving. Any other ways?
Yeah, you can look at a ship going over the
Ship going
horizon.
on the
That's
horizon.
probably the easiest way.
Okay, good. What is the radius of the Earth? What did you measure with your gyro thing?
I haven't done measurement. You can do that if you want to, but
no. But how big is the Earth? Do we know?
I think it's like 6,370, something like that.
How was that measured?
6,700, 6,000, something like that.
How do they measure that?
It's been measured in a number of ways.
Okay, good. How do they do that?
So nowadays, I think the best measurements are from satellites, I guess.
Okay. I want you to go your best way.
You can measure it.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the best way.
A satellite, yeah?
Yeah.
Where are these satellites?
That will get you an exact.
Where are these satellites?
Are we really
in orbit
going to this?
Well, we've got to critique everything that's being said. Remember, anything he says will be used against him, almost. So he's got to be careful about what he says.
Court.
See?
This isn't court.
Well, the globe is on trial, and we're trying to find out if it's guilty of deception, right?
You have turned this into something a bit weird, though, Chemo, I think.
Why are you guys getting mad at him? He was doing well.
Because he's been going for about 2 hours now. He's
on one question.
Limiting the conversation.
Isn't this what the people want?
I'm not sure. I think maybe for a while, but I think we're getting to the point where the answer to that question is no.
Let's let them decide.
Asking all the same questions.
No, let's not. I'll decide.
We should do a poll.
No, we shouldn't.
Let's do a
I think the flat earthers is under arrest.
This is a dictatorship, not a democracy.
They're under
Don't
arrest
be under
until
any
they can bond
illusions
themselves
about
out. Jim, I
Can't
think the
believe
flat earth should be under arrest until they can bond themselves out with a model.
that. Yes.
There you go. That's a good one.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
we all know about the models and reification fallacies.
Yeah, but
Plenty of
that's your
evidence.
point.
There's plenty of evidence to convict the Earth as to being of being a globe.
Yeah,
Go on,
people.
then, prove it.
Basketball. It's a globe sport.
Timo, when you keep asking these people about the evidence, and you said before something that you can do, that anybody can do, but you're not willing to do it. Why won't you do some of the things that people are suggesting to you?
Oh my god, I can't believe you're asking that question.
Yeah, I wish he would have said, I do those things.
Yeah, even Grim's going to have to agree with me here. You do not ask Chemo to do stuff.
Timo, first said, you have to have evidence that people can do, anybody can do. Well, I asked him at the very beginning, what's the difference between can do and will do?
Effort.
Well, sometimes resources.